Alright, so 1850 at Maplewood Hobby, me versus Chuck.
Word.
Chuck plays Imperial Guard. This is an 1850 point game. I play Grey Knights. So let's get to it.
Okay, so here's Chuck's army at 1850. He has a squad of 20 guardsmen. He has a penal legion of 20 guys. He has 2 squads of 10 guardsmen with 6 multi-meltas, or 6 meltas. He has 4 ogrins, a Leman Russ with Pask and sponsons or multi-meltas. He's a Demolisher along with a Manticore. He has 3 heavy weapon teams. There's a squad of 2 autocannons and 1 mortar, a squad of 3 las cannons and 3 heavy bolters. He also has Commissar Yarick. He also has a Calidus Assassin that is proxying as an Astropath. And he also has Guardsman Marbo, which will be proxied as a Grey Knight. Here is my Grey Knight strike force at 1850. I have 2 Dread Knights. They both have personal teleporters, hammers, and one of them has a heavy incinerator and a heavy side cannon, and one of them just has the heavy incinerator. 2 Razorbacks with Cybalt ammo and dozer blades, 2 squads, 6 purifiers, 1 squad has 4 hybrids, and the other squad has 3 hybrids and 1 hammer. They ride in those Razorbacks, 2 squads of identical purifiers, 1 Castellan Crow, he's my HQ, and 2 Venerable Riflemen. Now Chuck is going to roll for deployment type, that is pitch battle, so standard 12 inches up. So now we're going to roll to see who goes first. I get a... oh, he gets a 6, I get a 6. So let's see, roll again, he gets a 2, and I get a 5, so I'm going to choose to deploy first and go first. So I was deploying first, so my tactic when I was deploying was to put the Grey Knight Dread Knights in the center of the board. So on the first turn I could shunt, I could use my shunt move of 30 inches and be almost anywhere on the board, because I knew he didn't have enough firepower to shoot my Dread Knights down, so I didn't really bother putting them behind any cover. And with my Venerable Riflemen, I just put them in the back corner, so he didn't really have anywhere safe to be, and that kind of lured him into that corner to clump up, which actually was really great for me, as you'll see later in the video. So his idea with deploying was actually a tragic flaw on his part, because once my Dread Knights got over there, there's nothing that can shoot them down once they get in there, because they could just shoot up the place with their flamers and heavy side cannons. So Chuck's almost done deploying. He has to deploy his tanks, so he blocks off firing lanes. So let's see if he sees his initiative. And does he? He doesn't. He gets a 5 almost, but no. So Grey Knight's turn 1. So first turn, I decided to shunt up my Dread Knights to be up in his face, so I could really shoot him up with my heavy side cannons and heavy incinerators. So I also do another bold move of just moving my Razorbacks into the open, but I actually pop smoke with them. So that was my dangerous terrain check for that Razorback. I had dozer blades, so I probably would have passed it even if I failed. So now I pop smoke on both Razorbacks because I really fear that Demolisher. Run Crow about an inch. So now here's the heavy incinerator from the Dread Knight. So it gets 9 guys. That's a little bit more than 9. I think that was 11. But I do kill half of that squad, and then I drop a heavy side cannon from the other Dread Knight onto them, and it scatters, but it actually hits all 3 heavy weapon teams. So all 3 heavy weapon guys are dead. They are instant killed because it's strength 7 and their toughness 3, and on 3 guardsmen they are killed. So this is the heavy incinerator also. I'm gonna hit the whole squad and just racking them up right now. That's a good amount. And this was for Yark. I actually have to re-roll it, he told me, so I don't end up wounding him. And then this was onto an Ogren, which I did wound. So all of this stuff negates his armor save. So there goes a full squad of guardsmen first turn, and a full squad of heavy weapon guys first turn. Now here are the autocannons onto his tank, his Demolisher right there. So I get 3 hits, I believe. Yep, 3 hits, and now 6s with pen. Get 1 6, so he rolls his cover, he gets a 3, and I get a 5, so there goes his tank. So now Chuck's turn 1. So Chuck moves Yark up. Now this was a very, very bold move on his part to charge his Ogrens into my Dread Knights. Now he's doing his orders now. he's doing bring it down on the las cannons, bring it down on the auto cannons, and I believe, yep, he passes on 10 because this was from Crow.
How do you think this game's going? Awesome! Imperial Guard!
So that's Chuck right there being happy. More bring it down. So he really wants to get rid of my Dread Knights because he knows those things are a huge threat to him because I've played him before. So here are his Meltagons onto my 1 Dread Knight, and he inflicts 3 saves. I think I fail one of. I have 2 wounds left, so he must have inflicted 2 wounds. And now here are his Lasguns hitting on 4s, wounding on 6s. 6s, nothing. Here's his tank, his Lehman Russ, shooting at that. So he rolls, he pens it. I roll my save, I'm saved. No big deal. Now he's shooting his multi-meltas off the tank. They hit on 3s because he has Pask in that tank. And they both hit. So now it's 2d6, add them to 8. That's a pen. And the next one is also a pen. So 2 pens. And cover, I got a 5 and another 5. So, gates it. Here's the last cannon from the tank. And that's a pen. And I actually fail that, and he gets a 1. So, I'm just going to have to roll for Fortitude, put those 2 dice there so it can remind me to roll it. Now he's shooting his autocannons onto my Dread Knight. So, these are twin-linked because he used Bring It Down. It only affects monstrous creatures and vehicles, so he inflicts 3 wounds. Really, it should have been 2 wounds, but I ended up rolling a 1, so that brings me down to 3 wounds left. Now he's shooting his Ogre and Ripper guns at my Dread Knight right there. He hits on 4s because he's only crappy ballistic skill. He wounds them on 5s, I believe, because it's strength 5 to toughness 6. So I end up saving all the saving them all the wounds. So anyway, he does his orbital bombardment and it scatters and it is long gone. It's not going anywhere. This screwed me up. He charged his large squad of guardsmen into a Dread Knight and it just tar pitted me. And over here he was charging his Ogrins into my Dread Knight. Now this was also a big mistake on his part because Ogrins are only toughness 5. And Dread Knight's hammer is strength 10, so I can instant death them. So I get 2 hits, and to wound I need 2s, and those are 2 dead Ogrins right off the bat. Now he's doing the Ogrins attacks onto my Dread Knight. He did the Bonehead and the standard Ogrins separately for some reason, but in the end he manages to hit 3 times and only wound me 3 times. Because he gave them Furious Charge earlier, so they are strength 6. So I make all 3 saves, and now this is Yark hitting onto me. He rerolls to hit and hits on 4s, and those are 2 6s, and that's 1 wound. I save it on a 5 up, and I get a 6. So this is the other combat with the other Dread Knight, and I hit on 3s, and I wound on 2s, so that is 2 dead guardsmen from a Dread Knight. Now, he makes his morale because he didn't even inflict a wound on me, so now it's Grey Knight's turn 2. Now I'm going to roll for reserves. My 2 Grey Knight squads doesn't come in, needs a 4 up, and the other one does not come in. So, I'm going to disembark 2 inches out from the exit port. It's a 6-inch template, so that's going to be 8 inches. Move my Grey Knights in. This is the large Halberd squad. So they disembarked from that Razorback. The other Razorback's going to move up, possibly to support the Dread Knight with the large combat of guardsmen, and are going to enter the shooting phase. So my Dreadnoughts are going to shoot at his heavy weapon teams through the mountain. I only end up inflicting 2 wounds, so that's going to have to be cover saves, and he makes 1 out of 2, so that's 1 instigated heavy weapons team. So this is the other Dreadnought shooting at them. 1 miss, 3 hits, and 2s to wound, and 3 wounds. So 3 cover saves, and he makes 2 of them. So now I'm entering the assault phase. There's not really much else I can shoot. So I moved. Oh, we checked. I was 1 inch away from the tank, but I wasn't able to get nearly my whole squad in the combat, only the halberds, because it has to be 2 inches from the guy in base to base. Tried to use Cleansing Flame, doesn't go off, so here are my halberd attacks. 12 halberd attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s. And that is 4 dead guardsmen. And they do not get armor because these are power weapons. So now the guardsmen are going to be able to retaliate after I do my psi cannon attacks. And I only managed to wound once, I believe, and he makes his save. No, he fails to save, and that's already 5 dead guardsmen before he was able to strike. So now he needs 4s and then 5s. He inflicts 1 wound, I allocate it to the psi cannon, and he's good. So now he's going to have to make leadership. Fails his leadership, and now we're going to do an initiative check. He gets a 2. And I get a 4, I sweep him. So that whole squad is wiped out. And I consolidate 6 inches over behind the rock face so I won't be in front of that tank, because that tank can wipe out this whole squad in one large blast. So now it's the combat with the Dread Knight. I hit once, and I wound once. So it's another dead Ogren. So now they're striking me. And this is the Ogren Bonehead. And he wounds on 5s, and he gets 1 wound, and do I save it on a 2-up? Come on. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so now this is Yarrick. 3 hits from Yarrick, and now he needs 4s to wound, because he's only strength 6 with that Power Claw. And I failed that invulnerable save, so they are knocking down wounds. So we tied combat. Only 2 wounds left on that Dread Knight. So now this is the other combat with the small squad of guardsmen. Get 2 wounds, and I only inflict 1. So that's 1 more dead guardsman. Now, as you could probably tell, when you charge a Dread Knight into a large squad of guys, it's going to tarp hit that Dread Knight. That's really bad. So now we're going to go into Imperial Guard, turn 2. So now he's firing his Manticore, and it scatters, and it's going to scatter 3 inches, still hitting 1 Grey Knight. So he knew what to do, but in this case, luck wasn't on his side. So, scatters, and doesn't even kill that 1 Grey Knight. Now he's shooting Marbro's pistol, and I make the save on that squad of Grey Knights. So now he's doing his orders. He's using Bring It Down. I don't know what he really thought about shooting at using Bring It Down, because you can only use it on vehicles and monstrous creatures, and both of my Dread Knights are in combat. So now he's going to fire the Manticore at my Dreadnought all the way in the back, and it scatters right off the table, and boom. It was funny. But anyway, he's going to try to take out that empty Razorback. I don't know why, but he could have easily shot at the squad of Grey Knights, but doesn't even do anything. Now he's shooting his las cannon, and it misses, and his multi-melta hits. Second multi-melta doesn't hit. And now 2d6 for the multi-melta, and it pens AP1, so it's immobilized. So that's not going to be going anywhere. Now he's shooting at my Razorback with his shot at my las cannons. He pens, and he gets a with the las cannons. Razorback. So he's rolling for the guys inside to wound them, and he gets 3 wounds, 3 saves coming right up, and not 1 failed save so far this game on my power armor guys. Well, then they get out, and they go in the footprint of the vehicle because it's the explosion. So I set them up, and now we're in the combat. So now this is the Dread Knight striking on to the guardsman, and only managed to kill 1 guardsman. Not enough to make him even come close to failing his leadership. So he's striking back. He's going to need 4s and 6s, so not even 1 again. So now this is his leadership. He gets a 3. So he doesn't run away. And now this is me striking onto the Ogren to finish him off. And he's finished off. So that's another kill point. So this is Yarrick. He gets to re-roll. So he hits on 4s, and he wounds on 4s, because then again he's only strength 6 with that Power Claw. He inflicts a wound, and I don't even save it, so only have 1 wound left. So this is Grey Knight's turn 3. So, right into the shooting phase. Shooting straight at his heavy weapon teams to pick up another kill point. So, rerollable because it's twin linked and hits on 2s, and that's going to be 4 wounds, so 4 saves, and 4 saves of his, and he's gonna make 3 of them and only fail 1. and then more autocannons at them to finish them off from the other dreadnought next to him. So 4 wounds, and it's dead. He fails it. And when Marbo came in, he forgot to throw his demolition charge. But anyway, I charged Marbo, and I also charged the other squad that was next to the Dread Knight. I moved them over, but I didn't film that part. I didn't shoot at anything too. But this is that was Cleansing Flame. That was actually, no, that was Hammerhand on Yark. That was Hammerhand. So I actually wound him on 2s because now I'm strength 5 and he's only toughness 3. At least that's what he told me. So now I'm rolling to hit him and roll to wound on 2s. That is a lot of wounds, and he only has a 4-up invulnerable save. That's 8 invulnerable saves. And yeah, he died. He died. So that's that. Now these are the other attacks onto the guardsman squad from the other guys. And roll to wound, and I'm gonna get a lot. And I'm almost positive. I'm pretty sure I wiped out that whole squad. And that was the Dread Knight onto the other squad, and 3 guys killed, and that was all that was left. So now Crow's combat, it's D3 plus 1 attacks, so I got a 1, so it's 2 attacks, and rend him on a 4-up. Only 1 rend, and Marlboro has 2 wounds, so he inflicted 2 wounds on me, but I saved them both. So this is my consolidating move, so 6, then a 2 for the Knight squad, and then a 3 for the other Knight squad, and then a 1 for the Dread Knight. So this is Chuck's Imperial Guard, turn 3. Does Yark come back? Yes, he does. It's going to be a pain in the ass. Excuse my language. So this is, anyway, this is the, this was the Manticore, and this was onto the Dread Knight, so he kills my Dread Knight, and he's kind of happy. So anyway, he wants to insta-kill Crow with his tank for a kill point, so roll the save, and I'm good. That was the multi-melta, by the way. So here is the Demolisher, and invuln save. I make the save again. So here was the orbital bombardment. It scattered 3 inches over and landed on Marbo. So Marbo gets insta-killed by his own orbital bombardment. Chuck was really upset about that, but in all honesty, I don't blame him. And he charges Yark back into the Knight squad that killed him, but we just called the game there because we did that combat. I killed Yark before he was even able to hit me, and if the game was to keep going, I would have just walked into him because I still had 2 Knight squads in reserves, and I still had an open Dread Knight to go wherever I wanted. So here's the after game report.
Alright, so this is only turn 4. Yeah.
This is all that's left. I decided to yield.
Yeah.
Manticore missed both its shots.
I mean, even Marbo came in and was like, "Oh hi," and then got instant death by orbital bombardment.
I killed Marble by myself.
And he only killed Purifier and 1 Dread Knight. So
yeah,
it was a good game. Game Chuck.
Yep.
And thank you for watching, and please subscribe.